Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's morning briefing.
Tensions between Israel and the Islamic Jihad terror group are escalating to terrible new heights. Apparently the threat of violence is very real because the Israeli army has just deployed its Iron Dome defense system over central Israel. Things have been ramping up with the Islamic Jihad ever since Israel destroyed a terror tunnel in Gaza that had breached Israeli soil. 14 members of Gaza's Islamic Jihad organization were killed in that blast, and the group promised swift revenge. But earlier this week, the IDF's Major General posted a video warning to social media, warning the terror cell that Israel was aware of their plot against the Jewish state and not to proceed. Israel made good on this threat by arresting Islamic Jihad's top organizer of West Bank operations just a few days later. Hamas is also believed to be pressuring Islamic Jihad against retaliation at this time because an armed conflict with Israel would almost certainly derail the ongoing Palestinian unity talks. But with the army now suddenly deploying the Iron Dome over central Israel, it's clear Israel sees a very real possibility of violence on the horizon. And on top of all this, Israel has learned that the latest United States-Russia deal for a ceasefire zone in Syria apparently allows Iranian forces within as little as 3 miles from Israel's border. Prime Minister Netanyahu has reiterated his promise that the state will pursue any and all means necessary to keep Israel secure. Israel has just barred 7 European officials from passing through Israel's Ben Gurion airport. The Interior Ministry has confirmed that this is because the European delegates, which includes parliament members and French mayors, fiercely support boycotting Israel and only made the trip in order to visit convicted Palestinian terrorist Marwan Barghouti in prison. This move is perhaps the biggest enforcement to date of the state's controversial new law, which bans foreign BDS activists from entering the Jewish state. These 7 European officials, however, had a history of supporting local and international boycotts of Israel, and were named as being in the Barghouti network. This refers to jailed Palestinian terrorist Marwan Barghouti, who is currently serving 5 back-to-back life sentences for essentially leading the second intifada of bloody terror attacks against Israeli citizens. But the state believes that these Europeans were coming for a friendly visit with Barghouti, whose popularity among Palestinians has skyrocketed since his imprisonment. While the state is clearly looking to create consequences for foreign agents who seek to harm Israel, critics believe the legislation actually works against Israel's struggle for democratic freedom, as it delegitimizes freedom of expression and free travel based solely on personal political views. People of Israel, and even us here at ILTV, may have been too quick to celebrate this week when Justice Minister Ayelet Shaked made the groundbreaking announcement that Israel and Washington were close to eliminating visa requirements. But the latest reports show that there are still a number of pretty serious sticking points for both sides in this negotiation. First, the United States is demanding that Palestinians with American citizenship be allowed to fly in and out of Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion airport instead of Jordan as they currently do. Israel has been fighting this precondition on the grounds of security, among other reasons. Further, to qualify for visa waivers, prior visa refusal rates have to be below 3%, meaning that the age group of 21 to 30, which has a higher rate of Israelis trying to work and stay in the US illegally, may not be included in the final deal. And finally, the United States wants access to Israel's biometric database, which includes fingerprint records. Currently, Israeli law forbids giving foreign authorities any such information unless specific information is requested for an investigation. Justice Minister Shaked said she'd hope to get around this by only passing along fingerprints belonging to people convicted of crimes. In a shocking letter recently unearthed and published by the Daily Mail, heir to the British throne Prince Charles of Wales appears to blame foreign Jews for the problems of the Middle East. After a diplomatic visit to the Arab Gulf in 1986, the prince decided to return by boat through the Mediterranean. While at sea, he wrote to his longtime friend, explorer Lawrence Vanderpost, to discuss what he had learned and was now pondering. He wrote, quote, "This tour has me fascinated, and I've learned a lot about the Middle East and the Arab outlook. I tried to read a bit of the Quran on the way out, and it gave me some insight into the way they think and operate," end quote. The insights he allegedly gathered, though, seemed to be fueled by age-old anti-Semitic tropes. He continued to say that he, quote, "never realized they see Israel as a United States colony, and that he now sees as they do that, quote, it is the influx of foreign European Jews, especially from Poland, they say, which has helped to cause great problems. I know there are so many complex issues, but how can there ever be an end to terrorism unless the causes are eliminated," end quote. Now, while if true, this much of the letter is bad enough, according to the editor of the Jewish Chronicle, Stephen Pollard, the most shocking element was at the end of the letter, where the Crown Prince arrives at the conclusion that to solve this issue, quote, "surely some US president has to have the courage to stand up and take on the Jewish lobby in the US. I must be naive, I suppose," end quote. To the prince's many admirers, surely naive indeed. In one of the Israeli military's largest and most ambitious moves yet, the Israeli Defense Forces are now set to begin construction on 2 new massive army bases in the Israeli Negev in the south. The project, which is called Project IDF Ascent to the Negev, will include a base for intelligence and another for communications. Construction will begin next year, and they're planned for completion by 2022. Aside from shoring up defensive capabilities along the southern fronts, the project is also expected to bring over $6 billion annually to the area's economy. To create a base of operations of this scale would include massive enhancements to the surrounding area's infrastructure, as well as bring in hundreds if not thousands of families of career soldiers. Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman, who is one of the presenters of this new plan, said, quote, "The IDF is the most important social and economic engine in the country, and this is only one example of the tremendous potential of the IDF's transfer to the Negev," end quote.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.